Let there be light. I'm Pastor Rob, and this is the third of our summer leadership updates of what's going on behind the scenes here at St. Paul. And I'm in the narthex for this one, and that's because we're doing a lot of work in the narthex, including updating the lighting. And this is part of a sort of a makeover, if you will, of the narthex. Now, when you walk in on Sunday, or the next time you're in the narthex, you'll notice that a whole lot more than the lighting has changed. And you may say, oh, the world has ended. Well, it hasn't ended, but don't worry too much, because everything we're doing now is really temporary, because we're going to be painting the walls, and that's going to mean we're going to have to take all the stuff down, move it away from the walls, etc. And so we're sort of using these 3 or 4 weeks before the painting to test some stuff out and see how it works. And I want to let you know, though, why we're doing all this, right? Why are we just sort of changing this all up? And right now I'm looking at, through the glass in the narthex here, at our solar panels. And when you do something like solar panels, although we're hoping for a shorter term, sort of in terms of the financial turnaround, you're putting something on your roof you think is going to be there for 25, 30, 40 years. And that's because we as a church, we as a congregation, we think in a generation we're still going to be here and still be an active congregation that has thriving worship and has the ability to help home so many vital and important ministries in this community. But if we're still going to be here in 30 years, that would suggest we're going to have to take in a whole lot of new members over the next 30 years. And what's true is that increasingly the people that are coming and visiting St. Paul, they didn't grow up at St. Paul. They didn't even grow up in a Lutheran church. And they may not have grown up in a mainline or any kind of church. They're really coming to us with a spiritual hunger and openness and curiosity, but very low familiarity with our traditions and how we do things here at St. Paul, or even again, how churches work as a whole. And so a couple of months ago, back in February, council sort of put together a group and invited people from the congregation to join if they wanted to help in this narthex renewal process. And they looked at other churches, had an interior designer come in. Then they came back to the council and said, hey, this is what we want to do. And really what we're hoping is that the narthex, in sort of after this sort of round of sort of renewal, will be able to do 3 things. First, we want it to be able to help people who are coming feel welcomed, feel comfortable. Second, to help everybody who comes in have their hearts prepared for worship. And third, that especially for newer people, but really anybody, can find a way that they can then share their gifts of time, treasure, and talent, that they can become integrated and part of the community. And I don't have to go into all the details, but if you just take a step back and think about the way the narthex is and ask yourself, if I had never been to this church before, would this space as it's laid out now help me to know where to go, what's expected of me, what's next, how I can get involved? And I think the answer is not really. Not really. So again, we've set this group up. I'm so thankful for the handful of people that have been involved. And obviously in a space like the narthex, there's going to be, we're all going to have our own opinion on how stuff should have been situated. So I thank the group that actually sort of is making the decisions on behalf of us. And it's okay in the next couple of weeks to give our feedback. Again, this is a trial phase here during this sort of this pre-painting. But if you really have concerns, we're heading in the wrong direction, that somehow this isn't sort of the direction we should be going, then come to me or the other council leadership, because this isn't just a cleanup. This is more deeply saying, if we're going to be a healthy church the next generation, we've got to be welcoming people and helping them more quickly find a home and integrate into our midst. One of the things, though, that we don't want to do in all of this is lose what's really important to us, including our Lutheran tradition and heritage. And actually this fall, we're going to be leaning into that a little bit, because one of the things we've heard as a staff, as a pastoral staff, is that people love Sunday, but kind of what does this look like to be a Christian Monday through Saturday, connecting sort of Sunday to Monday in faith to daily life. And one of the Lutheran answers to that has been that God has called all of us, not just monks or priests, but into holy callings, whether changing diapers or making shoes that don't hurt people's feet, or milking cows so people have milk, or whatever. And we're all given these callings, sacred callings in life, the ways in which we serve our neighbor. And we're going to start out the year actually with the vocation of being a student and learning as kids head back into school with the blessing of the backpacks. But stay tuned throughout the year. We'll be reflecting back on vacation and celebrating these different ways in which God calls us into service. Just other little thing is that, again, the sacred grounds this year, the flowers came out. It's just beautiful. And we did add some more stones to make the surface of the prayer labyrinth even more walkable. So, again, while you have been away this summer, the elves at St. Paul have been busy at work. And again, hoping to, one of the big things now will be the narthex, because we know that people are hungry for the word, hungry for a sense of community, hungry to be a part of an organization that's making an impact in the broader world. And so we know there's going to be a lot of people coming, and we want to figure out how we can make this space here as accessible, inviting, as preparatory, and ultimately a way in which people can start to share the gifts that God has given each of us for serving Jesus. Have a great rest of your summer.